Hello and welcome to this edition of the SAU Report. I'm Amanda Smith.
I'm Shannon Watson.
And today our guest is Matthew Johnson, a junior theater major from Magnolia. Hello, Matthew.
Hi, how you doing?
Great.
Hello and welcome. Matthew, I'm going to start it off with a crazy little question here. We introduced you as a theater major. Tell us all about your major and why you chose it.
Okay, well, 6 years ago or so, when I came to this place proudly, I wanted to be a graphic design major, and I did that off and on for 2 years, and I really couldn't decide really if that's what I wanted to do. So I decided that I wanted to be a theater major after taking a few of Miss Vassar's classes just to take a load off for a while. I took a couple of her classes one semester, and that's when I pretty much decided I like theater.
Oh yeah, Miss Vassar's the coolest.
Oh yeah, she's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm of course not a major yet, but we're working on it.
Yeah.
So yeah, tell me more about like how far along you are in your major.
Well, actually, I've pretty much completed all of my theater requirements. I've got to take some Spanish and the rest of my general classes because I kind of waited till the last 6 years to do that.
Well, a lot of people do.
Yeah.
Wouldn't worry about it too much.
But yeah, I'm almost through. So.
Yeah.
What classes have you taken that you've really enjoyed in your major?
In my major, I've enjoyed all of Miss Vassar's classes, like the dance classes, studies in musical theater and stuff like that. Those are always fun because you can ad-lib and go crazy.
Creative dramatics was a lot of fun.
Oh, creative dramatics, yeah.
Yeah, we got to put on a children's play. And
yeah, that was great. We did Noah's Ark, I think, for ours. Hey, Noah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. A lot of fun.
All right, well, we're here mainly to talk to you today about the Walt Disney World College program. You recently went to Florida and worked at Walt Disney World for a few months. Tell us a little bit about that. Okay,
well, it kind of started last year. My friend Tasha, she used to go here to SAU, and she would always talk about Disney this and Disney that. And I think Shannon knows her, and so does Amanda.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I kind of asked her, like, could I do this? And she was like, sure. And I was like, wow, I never thought about that, like taking off of school and stuff like that. So I signed up for an interview at LSU Shreveport, and I went down there, interviewed, and I got in the program. So.
Awesome. All right.
Anything else you want to know about that?
Just like, can anybody, I mean, even if you don't know somebody in the college program, can you find information about it on your own and find out about interviews, and do you have to have recommendations from Disney alumni,
No, you don't have to. It does help. I did have a recommendation from Tasha when I went. But what I did, I went and researched on the computer. I went to Yahoo, Google, all that good stuff. You can put in Disney College Program and get many, many personal home pages. You can get the official one, which is www.collegeprogram.com, and stuff like that. They can tell you how to apply, what schools are going to be interviewing in that fall or spring, and whatever you want. And anyone can pretty much do it. You just have to have 1 semester of college completed.
Oh, okay.
So
how long were you at Disney World?
I was at Disney World for 5 months, from 1st of August to the 1st of January.
Oh.
And good bit of time up there. So.
Well, going back to the earlier, could you detail like what the selection process is, like exactly what you have to go through?
What you have to go through? Well, whenever you say you're going to interview, you go to interview, and I hear about 40,000 people every year or every semester try out for this thing, and only about 6,000 actually get into it.
Wow.
And it seems like it's hard to do, but it's not. Just go be yourself, maybe act a little happy, or whatever. It might help a little bit, and I don't know. Like Shannon, he's happy. Yeah, Shannon would be a shoo-in for Disney World, I think. But yeah.
Is it true that you can't mention anything about Bugs Bunny? They hate that.
Nah,
Turf
I don't think so.
Cool. Okay, but you say only 6,000 people make it, huh?
Only about 6,000 people make it.
Is that because they have a small amount of slots?
As far as I understand, yeah, they have enough. Yeah.
They have like a lot of full-time workers there already. They just bring college students.
There's lots of full-time workers. There's people around my age to younger to much, much older. Like people retire, go work there, so they can get different benefits for their families and stuff. And
cool.
So there's just all kinds of people work at Disney World.
All right.
So you go ahead.
Oh, no, you're fine.
I was just going to say, you stayed a semester. How long can you stay
You can stay as long as you want to. You can keep on. People have been there. Some people have been on the college program for 5 years.
Oh wow!
Yeah. So all you have to do is just they give you a certain date you have to extend your program on, but you can keep going as long as you want, as long as you don't get kicked out, which is really easy to do. But
oh really?
Yeah.
How is it easy to get kicked out?
They're pretty strict in their rules and stuff like that. Like they even have an attendance policy, kind of like a school. I mean, like you have to be at work. If you miss more than 3 times or 3 times in less than 30 days, you will get a reprimand. If you get 3 to, I can't remember, 5 reprimands, I can't remember, you will be kicked out of the program and sent home.
Like a demerit.
And they also have, drug policies and different stuff like that. Anybody can get kicked out. It's really easy.
There are certain rules that you have to follow when you're down there too. Like,
oh yeah.
Can you, like, if you were to have an eyebrow ring, could you wear that? I mean.
Eyebrow ring stuff, you cannot wear stuff like that.
Nothing like that?
Nothing like that. I don't think you can have a Band-Aid to cover it like you can in some jobs. You have to have certain hair guidelines. You have the dress code and stuff like that. And they actually have inspectors come in every so months or so and say, this is wrong, you need to change this, you need to do this. Your managers don't normally do that, but like if you haven't shaved that day, you have to shave every morning. You can't have I always have kind of a 5 o'clock shadow, so they kind of still got on to me about that, even though I shaved every day.
So I would have no problem.
Yeah.
So you can't make fun of the 7 dwarfs for being short?
No.
But really, they're not asking anything outrageous or anything?
No, they're really not. No colored hair, no, stuff like that. So just usual.
All right, so after you found out that you had been selected for the college program, how did you prepare for that? You knew you were going to be leaving in a few months. What all did you have to do to, find living arrangements and be prepared to move down there?
They actually, whenever you get accepted, they say they're going to send you another packet in the mail. You get a giant packet, and it tells you what to do, where to look on the website for different information, and they even have a countdown, like what you need to do by this time, what you need to do by this time. You have to send in a $60 housing non-refundable deposit for your housing, and they'll put you in one of 3 apartment complexes. I can get into that in a little bit. And they just pretty much kind of lay out what all you need to do, what money you have to sit in, what forms, like a criminal form, about all that stuff, and just everything you need to do. It's pretty much laid out for you.
So idiot-proof.
It is, pretty much,
That's a good thing.
Lots of paperwork, though, especially when you get there. Lots of stuff to fill out. You have to fill out a contract that pretty much says whatever ideas you have belong to Disney. If you make something...
Oh, if you create something.
If you create something, it belongs to Disney. So,
wow.
Yeah, I wasn't doing much creating.
Wait till I get home to Arkansas.
Yeah, I won't tell them.
I think I may be still officially employed by them for.
Oh wow!
So if you've got a great imagination, you got to keep it under wraps.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. Well, speaking of Arkansas, how much of a culture shock was? I mean, I know that anytime you're somewhere from where is different from home, it's going to be a culture shock. But tell me how it was from Arkansas to Florida.
Well, for one thing, there's many people from many different places at Disney World, and they weren't from Arkansas. I don't think I knew one person from Arkansas. I met some other people that knew other people from Arkansas, but so it was a little bit different in that way, because other people there were probably 10 people in my apartment building that were from the same school, but they didn't know each other.
Wow.
Yeah, so they could relate on stuff like that, and they become really good friends and stuff. So there's stuff like that, but it's really different. Like, what would you like to know about specifically? Anything?
Well,
you're thinking of?
For instance, prices of things.
Prices of things?
Yeah,
prices of things. Well, it's Orlando, and it is a tourist community, so things are pretty much more expensive there anyway. Well, you have stuff like cigarettes. I knew people from New York and Maryland and different places like that. Their cigarettes there were like $7 or more a pack, just for one pack.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so when they came there and it was like $4.30, they thought they were in heaven, and I'm like, well, in Arkansas it's like $2.85 at the local,
my goodness.
store. So
that's one way to quit.
There's stuff like that. Yeah, and some things like. I can't even think now. Restaurants are usually a little more pricey. It depends. There's stuff like local chains you have everywhere. They're pretty much the same, like a Chili's or something like that. I can say that, right? Chili's.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah.
All right.
I'm not gonna believe it. No sponsorship.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, I know I was there last week, and we thought gas in Magnolia was expensive. It's like $1.73 in Orlando.
It's way up there. You have to go. I don't know. I used to travel 15 to 20 miles just to get a better discount on gas, or better deal on gas. from where I was, because we were in Lake Buena Vista, and that's just kind of from right there by Disney World. It's where everybody stays, and pretty much so.
So back to the housing arrangements. You know, they set up your housing for you.
Oh yeah, they set up your housing for you. Well, there's 3 different apartment complexes for the college programmers.
Okay.
There's Vista Way, there's the Chatham, and the Commons, which the Commons is mainly for the international students, and they treat them very, very, very well.
Well, that's a good thing.
Yeah, that's a good thing. Much, much better than us, though. So that's kind of not. But yeah, the Vista Way, it probably had over 30 buildings, and I want to say there are 12 different apartments in each building. And I had 6, well, there were 6 of us. I had 5 roommates.
Wow.
Yeah, and we were all from different places, and we all were very, very different people.
Right.
So they're kind of set up in that way. You have 6,000 students kind of all gathered in these apartment buildings, and they even have different things, like there's Mickey's Retreat at the Commons. They used to have like football games and volleyball games, and you could go swimming out there, and they'd have different things for everyone to come together and meet each other. Cool. And different dances every once in a while. It's kind of like school, I guess. You know, they had a dance here, mixers. Yeah, exactly. They had mixers, and it was cool. It was funny. They always had characters at the mixers too.
Oh, wow,
so that was awesome. Like Mickey Mouse dressed in a tuxedo was really cool.
Did you get to meet Jessica Rabbit, or should we talk about that later?
No, they don't have her anymore. She's actually Roger Rabbit and all that isn't owned by Disney anymore. Yeah.
Anymore? Oh, they lost the life of the
somehow, yeah, they did.
Oh,
so
okay.
Well, do you have the option of having less than 5 roommates? I know that I personally don't think I could get along with 5 different people at the same time.
Did you share
It's hard. The girls have had a much harder time getting along.
Oh, really?
Yeah, a much harder time.
We're pretty catty.
Yeah, and we pretty much kind of stayed to ourselves. We'd leave something on our dry erase board, like you didn't do your dishes, you know, and kind of walk away and, you know, try not to deal with it one-on-one, because we didn't want to start, you know, some kind of
live
feud.
together.
Yeah, we all had to live together, and
as guys, we're generally, you know, easy to get along with sometimes, you know.
Sometimes, but we were so different. We did have our own fights and stuff. Even my best friend, that was my roommate, Ron, we even got to a couple of fights, but we're still buds. We still call each other. So
was it hard to share like one TV, or didn't you have just one TV, or?
Oh, actually, Ron brought the only television. We had a big TV in the living room. He brought a DVD player, stereo. So if it wasn't for him, we would have been, I don't know, not watching any TV or movies or anything. So
cabin fever.
Which, you know, you're in Orlando. There's plenty to do.
Yeah.
So
of course. Well, speaking of plenty to do, well, I'll go ahead and ask you about your job that you had at Orlando. Tell us where you work. Tell us all about it.
I worked at the Disney MGM Studios Backlot Tour, and that's how we have to say it. We can't say MGM Studios because that's in Hollywood, or, you know, it's in California.
Disney,
we have to say Disney MGM Studios. They're very, very strict on this. Okay, you have to treat your guests like better than anything in this world, because they were telling us how the average family spends probably 5 to 10 years saving for a Disney vacation like the average. So you've got to treat them like, you know, they're gold. So, you know, and so you learn that kind of stuff there. That's what's good about this job. You learn, you know, how to treat people in a job. You learn people skills. You meet very, very interesting people, and different people all over the country, all over the world, all over everywhere.
Well, what was your specific job?
My specific job was working at the Backlot Tour. I did the water tank part, which is at the first of the ride, and Amanda knows.
I volunteered for it last week.
Last week on spring break, and so excited. She got to meet my friends and everything. So, well, what we did was we got out on a dock in a water tank, and it was just a giant pool of water with some dumping tanks and a ship. It was a fake ship, but it was a ship nonetheless. We got 4 volunteers from the audience, and that's another job we had. But we got 4 volunteers, dressed them in blue suits, and we put them on a boat, and we actually blew them up with water cannons, and we got to tell people how to make a movie. And while we're doing this, it's actually filming different parts and putting them together in a computer. Cool. And so at the end, the people in the audience can watch and see how the movie came together at the end.
It was a lot of fun.
And
I got to be the mechanic, and they dumped 800 gallons of water on me. And
but it's more like 1,000 gallons.
Is it 1,000?
They say 800, but they don't want to scare you. So that's part of the whole spiel we had. So I actually had 3 days, I think, to learn all of my lines and stuff for this. And
I noticed when I went, each cast member, that's what y'all call yourselves.
Yeah, we're cast members.
Your cast members, each of them took turns doing the different parts, and they all said the exact same thing word for word. So
Just
like
there's 6 different rotations, and we have to learn different things for each one of them. Yeah. There's dressers that get them ready. There's people that assist them. There's the host, and there's different, people that let people in line into the place.
Just like theater.
So yeah, it's
learn your lines.
You just learn your lines. Yeah.
All right.
That's good being a theater major. So
yeah
very, very good job. And I knew a lot of people down there that were theater majors, and they were so jealous of my job. They hated their jobs. And, and it's just like any other job. People think they're going to get there and it's going to be all magical, and it kind of is. But it's still another job, and you still don't feel like you want to go. And you know, it's just stuff.
You
like
wake up. Do you wake up in the morning wanting to go to work, or
not really? It's just like here, you know. But you have a little more motivation, I feel, than you do here at SAU when you get there. But it's still, you know, pretty much the same. But you have your friends at work, you know, and you want to see them.
Cool.
Well, other than working at Disney World, you know, what are some of the perks of the job? I mean,
perks of the job. That's why a lot of people work there. Actually, you get lots and lots of discounts. Not even just at Disney World. Like having my cast member ID, I could go to Chili's or the Japanese restaurant anywhere on my street. Joe's Crab Shack. I got like a 15 to 20% discount on everything. Let me see. Well,
don't you get into all the parks free?
We get into all the parks free. Yeah, it's just.
Awesome.
Very, very fun. Yeah, we usually get 2 days off a week, and we could go. Me and Ryan usually went to Epcot and Magic Kingdom. Those were probably our favorite places, and MGM too. That's probably my favorite most of all now because I work there.
Cool.
But there's just so much to do in all of them. You get discounts all over the park and the restaurants, everywhere but Cinderella's castle. You don't get a discount there.
Well, she's a princess.
Yeah.
Well,
it's great.
Cool. Well, you were talking about stuff that you did. What did you do that was? You know, non-Disney oriented. Like
non-Disney oriented.
If there was anything. I mean.
Well, there is. There's Universal Studios with Islands of Adventure. My roommate went there quite a few times, but I just never had the money for it. He always made more than me. So, but that was about $50 or so. If you want to spend the money, I hear it's really, really awesome. There's different stuff to do. There's concerts going on all the time. The radio station puts on different mystery shows, which were awesome. I never got to go to one, but you never had to pay for a ticket. All you did was call in and win.
Okay.
And so it was like they give you a list of bands, and every week they take 2 off. And so by the end, you have 2 to 3 bands, and one of them is going to be there.
Cool.
And they had, you know, just different stuff. It's Orlando, so there's a big city. There's so many stuff going on.
Too much to do, right?
Yeah, there's too much to do. So we'd sometimes listen to the radio and hear about something going on in town and be like, oh, that's free. Let's go do that. You know. So. And that's pretty much it. You know, if you want to pay for it, go do it.
So there is stuff to do around Orlando that's not expensive?
Oh, yeah. You can have a lot of fun. So, like mini golf.
Mini golf?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Disney actually has a couple of mini golf courses,
yeah, they do, but they're a little expensive.
A bit, so.
But we get in there free, too. So.
Well, great.
Well, I think what everyone really wants to know is, did you get to meet Princess Jasmine?
I actually saw her in the parade, and
oh, okay.
Yeah,
I never got to meet Princess.
I think that's what
Jasmine.
you want to know.
Yeah, that's just what I want to know. It's just a personal thing.
She's pretty hot.
She's a sweetie.
Well, speaking of meeting princesses, did you get to meet anybody famous while you were there? I know famous people go to Disney World just like us normal people.
Yeah.
Do, so.
Well, some people I didn't get to meet, but was there while I was working. Michael Jackson came in the park.
Oh wow!
Which would be interesting.
Yes,
definitely.
Sinbad came in the park, and what he does is pretty much embarrass his kids the whole time. They're pretty much sitting there like, Dad, you know, don't do that. But there's actually the famous people I did meet. I met Gary Sinise the last week I was there, and if anyone doesn't know, he played Lieutenant Dan on Forrest Gump. He was in Mission to Mars, and what else?
Yeah. Apollo 13.
Apollo 13.
He's one of those actors that you can't really name.
But he's good.
Yeah,
and he was
awesome.
a very nice guy.
Cool guy.
He wanted his kids to volunteer for the water tank, and so this bubbly, happy, overexcited girl came up to me and was like, yeah, we have a high-profile guy here, and he wants his kids to volunteer. So I go and take him around, and I show him what to do, I get him dressed and stuff like that. So he was a very nice guy.
Cool.
Also,
yes,
we had something called Super Soap Weekend at Disney World, and that's when all the celebrities and the soap stars from ABC soaps, because ABC is Disney,
right?
Yeah, and NBC stars go to Universal. So if you want to see Days of Our Lives and stuff like Passions, you know.
Okay.
Anyway, but yeah, ABC stars do go to MGM Studios, and I worked at the Backlot tour. So for some reason that gave me the opportunity to work with some of them on our residential street in the back of the Backlot, and we got to meet Vanessa Marcel, who was Brenda Barrett on General Hospital, and which doesn't mean much to me, but she was Nicolas Cage's girlfriend in The Rock.
Exactly.
And she's been on a few things, yeah. And she brought her fiance Brian Austin Green from Beverly Hills 90210.
I remember him.
And he was nice, you know. I got to talk to him a little bit, but I mainly got to sit there and take pictures of them with other people's cameras, and you know, I got to talk to her a little bit, but as a cast member, we're not supposed to unless they talk to us first.
Were you sort of a bodyguard, sort of?
Kinda, yeah. You know, kind of stand there, and people go crazy over these soap stars. They're screaming out their character names, saying "Watch out for so and so," and they're serious.
It's true.
It's really scary. And I actually saw this woman in a wheelchair, and normally you wouldn't say what happened to you, but she looked so bad. She was like in bandages all over her arms and stuff. So the first thing when she wheels up, I say, "What happened to you?" And she was like, "Well, I was over by so and so's signing place, and people stomped on me." Like she got trampled on.
Oh my goodness.
And people were just going nuts over these things. Wow. But it's just interesting place.
Anybody besides soap stars?
I did meet Eric Sermon.
Yes.
Yeah. And Shannon knows who this is. He is a rapper.
Yes.
And he was a very nice guy. Me and my other roommate, Matthew, were both Matthews. We went and met him, and he had a time with that. But he was really nice. He got a new song out with Redman. Everybody catch it, you know?
Yeah, it's a good song.
Yeah, it is a good song. He was nice, very nice. One of the nicest people I met. And also Jamie Lynn Spears.
The little sister,
the little sister of Britney Spears. Yeah, she told me she liked my T-shirt. So it was.
And don't you have a Britney Spears story, sort of? Kind of.
I don't like to talk about it, but.
Well, not on national TV. It's.
I was working at the water tank, and Britney Spears was there, and I didn't know. She walked right by me while I was talking to my friend. I must have been like this, and she walks right by me. And
hate it when that happens.
She was standing in line, and how do you miss her?
How do you miss Britney? Exactly.
Let me think.
We know how you feel.
That's a different story for her.
At least it wasn't the Dixie Chicks, huh?
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah.
Go Natalie. But okay, well that's so you had a lot of fun at Disney, and
I had a lot of fun at Disney.
Cool. Would you recommend other college students trying to?
I recommend everybody going over there. Actually, I know a few years ago, or actually it was a couple of years ago. I know SAU wasn't standing behind this fully because they didn't want people to take off of school. They weren't trying to encourage that. But I think it's very important. You can also take online courses here. Some teachers here will let you do that while you're there, and it just seems like it's the thing that everyone should do. You know, everyone's doing it. Jump on it.
It's the cool thing.
Yeah,
join the bandwagon.
It's good to get experience with somewhere besides South Arkansas, and
it really is. Yeah, you learn a lot. You see a lot of different people. You meet a lot of friends, and yeah, we're planning on going back for 2 weeks in May.
Okay.
Just to kind of
hang
out together. Yeah, and work. We can actually go back and work whenever we want to. So.
Right.
Yeah, that works out.
Cool. Well, we got a little bit more time.
Okay.
I have a question to ask you. It's a very deep question here.
Okay.
I know you're a big fan of the classic show Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Yes.
And I want to know, from a fan's point of view,
no.
how do you feel about the show being canceled this year? Not really canceled, just ending its run. Let's say that.
I am sad that it's ending its run, but I feel that it is kind of time. I guess it has.
Well,
I know Amanda doesn't.
You can't have an opinion in this.
I find the show to be genius. One of the best shows on television, next to Twin Peaks. But that's a different story. Anyway, yeah, Buffy this season has been excellent. They've tied in everything from the past 7 seasons to this season. It's going to have a great final 5 episodes. I think they have left. And it's about time. They're going to have a spinoff, I think.
Hopefully.
They think. But as far as the show, it had a great run. It was one of the best shows on television ever.
And a lot of people really didn't give it a lot of respect because of the title, right?
Yeah, because of the movie that
which was not
made,
very
which is not good.
No,
but
this is what it was. Nice, but
this is what the movie was actually supposed to more be. You know.
Exactly. Yeah.
It is funny. Most people think it's all serious, or they think it's just stupid.
Right.
But it's both. So,
and
but in a good way.
To watch it.
Yeah. And I did get to watch it while I was in Orlando because we had UPN, but now I've got to kind of get different tapes and stuff from different people.
All right.
Your addiction.
Well, on that note, we're about out of time. But thank you so much for joining us today, Matthew.
Oh, no problem.
Appreciate it.
All right. And for the SAU report, I'm Shannon Watson.
And I'm Amanda Smith.